Yeah.
You had a sensible size business when you went on Apprentice, didn't you? What kind of size was it?
So we got to, very quickly after the first week, I took on an apprentice. A month later, another plumber, and we got more and more estate agent contracts that allowed us to grow quite quickly. What I found was that I was very good at doing the job and selling the job, but I'd never built a back office. Got a little office above an estate agent, put a part-time lady in, and I didn't quite know where to go next. I needed help, I needed support, I needed mentorship, I needed advice, I needed cash, I needed exposure, because I took us as far as we could actually go. So then I was getting quite depressed actually. Because I didn't know where to go with the business. We were doing a very small amount of about £315,000 worth of turnover a year. We were making profit, and it was good for me personally, but it was never going to make me the millionaire, billionaire that I wanted to be. So
I think what you said is a situation so many business owners find themselves in, and what you said is actually identifying that you actually need coaching, you need mentorship, you need cash. It's actually really intelligent. And I think that what you're saying about, in terms you plateaued, a lot of people do get frustrated when they plateau. They don't understand how to break through, do they? Don't understand what you need to do, and that is why you need to go and seek out somebody that has walked the path you want to walk.
Exactly. Where do you go next? You know, what you're doing. A lot of people as well, and it's becoming a lot easier now because there's a lot more videos like this that are able to share advice and talk about mentors, and there's a lot of events. But, you know, I suppose back then there was probably still them, but I didn't go to as many. So I didn't quite know where to go next to take it to the next level. And the reason that I was able to, so one evening, it was January, I remember it very, very clearly. I think it was January the 3rd or the 4th, and I came home that evening. It was 9 o'clock at night. I had a real shit day in the office. Real shit day. It was terrible. And I got my phone out, looked on Facebook, and Lord Sugar's page came up, and it said, final call for the apprentice, you've got 24 hours to apply. And then that moment, I stood there, okay, and I looked at the phone, and this is hand on heart, God's honest truth, okay, I knew that I'd won already. The second that I looked at the form, I just knew, because the book was so key in playing a part in me starting the business. I always knew that book, and I'm a strong believer in the laws of attraction, it was going to come to fruition. So anyway, I put my details in there for the solid reason that I wanted exposure, because I wanted to go national. I knew the show could do that for me. I needed cash, okay, to get me to the next level, to invest in the infrastructure to allow us to grow. And then I also needed the mentorship, and who better to get than a Lord Billionaire?
I think it's a brilliant, brilliant story. And also, what you didn't mention was that you're impulsive enough to take action and get it done. Now I find it so many times with entrepreneurs out there is, I want to think about it, I want to take time, I want to ask something, I want to do. Sometimes it is about being impulsive, taking action, getting it done, and then you get results.
100%.
So many people miss opportunities because they haven't got the guts to just say, do you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to actually take action and get it done. That's exactly what you did.
And you've just got to do it. You know, just do it. Don't think about the consequences. Just get on with it and deal with them after. I'm a strong believer that you measure risk against the reward. But, you know, you have to take risk to get to the next level. And you've just got to decide. You can keep procrastinating all the time. Should I do it? Will I do it? Is it going to work? But, you know, ultimately, if you don't try, you're never going to know. You know, just stop wanting things, stop thinking that you can have things, stop having that desire and doing nothing about it, you know, and that's the most important thing.
Some of your actions are what take you towards your success, and if you take no action, you're going to stay still, you're going to stay stagnant. And it sounds like you took a lot of action in every step, and commend you for that. So you went on to The Apprentice. Obviously, you know, you had some good candidates there and some good people. I actually think it was strong competition that year. You know, I've watched it a lot of years. I haven't started watching it this year, but I've watched it a lot of years. Obviously, I know Lee really well. No, Richard was very good. What was it like with the people around you? How did you feel when you got there? Did you think it was Did you think it was tough? What was the situation? Did you enjoy it?
So, if I'm all honest, it was brutal. It really, really was brutal when you watch it on TV and you don't understand what goes on behind the scenes. So when I applied, okay, you wait and you get on the show, you have to go away for 9 weeks off radar. You can't tell anybody where you're going. You know, and you know as well as I do, in the early stages of your business, you are everything. Marketeer, sales, HR, customer service, manager, operations, okay? And I was heavily doing that, and I had this part-time lady. So I had to basically say to her, look, I've got to go away for 9 weeks. I'm going to go on the show. Can you run my business for me? Nobody can know where I've gone. None of our customers, none of our engineers, no one. I'm going to tell everybody that my auntie, who lives in Italy, is ill, and I'm going to have to go away on a goat farm, and they've got no Wi-Fi. Okay, and that's exactly what I did. And she looked at me and said, Joe, you know what, she's in her 50s. I'll step up and do it for you because I know you're going to win. So that was a big thing. I risked my whole business once again because I knew I would win the show, because I thought it could fall apart in those 9 weeks. Okay, so that's another lesson about taking that risk.
Did it fall apart?
No, she kept it. We came out and she kept every client that we had, ran all the engineers.
She's still with you?
Unfortunately, she's retired now.
Right,
bless her,
Now I'll find her.
Now she's gone. No. Her name's Debbie and she's cracking, but she retired about 6 months, actually it was this time last year, November. But, you know, that's also a lesson in the fact that as much as you think your business is you, your business can run without you. So don't be afraid to start stepping away when it's ready. We're going off subject a little bit there, but while we're talking about it. And so I had that on my mind, that I wasn't able to contact my business. You know, I didn't know what was going on with it. But on the first day, you're chucked into a house with 18 candidates that you know nothing about, that are your competition, that are against you head to head, okay, and that want to take you down at any turn. Okay, so it's hard. Then you're chucked into all of these tasks where you're up against it, and you don't, you know, I never claimed to be a business expert. I'm nowhere near that now, and I never was at the time. But you're inventing products, you're marketing products, you're making products, you're selling, you're pitching, you know, you're doing 18-hour days, and in between the times when you're talking in the cars on camera, when the cameras go off, you have to be silent. You can be doing 2 or 3 hour journeys where you can't talk to each other because of rules and all of that type of stuff. I didn't sleep because I was always so wired in my mind about what was going on and thinking what happens in the boardroom, you know, and all of that type of stuff. So you don't see all of that. It's absolutely savage. Okay, it really, really is, because the most important thing is, you know, you're working as a team, but are they going to stab you in the back? And a lot of the lessons that I learned from that, and a lot of the mistakes that people make on that show on a weekly basis or when they go on there, is that all they ever try to do to show themselves is get other people down. So they try to be loud in the boardroom about why you've made a mistake, whereas I focused on being loud on what I did right. So it was all about showing what I'd done, you know, and promoting myself, not trying to bring somebody else down when I hadn't performed. So that's what I concentrated on, and that's
I think you can see that on the show when people do that, you know. And I think without a doubt, you know, highlighting your strengths is obviously key. How many of the people in your one were actually business owners? There weren't many, was there?
I'd say probably 4.
4.
Yeah.
Do you feel that gave you a bit of an edge? Because I think when you are a business owner, like you said, you're wearing all these different hats, and you might not know it, but you're getting training like constantly, aren't you, from dealing with different things. And somebody that is currently in a job, or even if they're a really high-end job, they don't get exposed to some of the other things like cash flow and you know, finances, investors, raising funding, marketing, sales, everything like that.
Major pressure.
You
know, and it gives
you the confidence as well. Like,
confidence, 100%. I mean, having that business for the 3 years, and when I chucked myself in it, you know, and all the things that I'd learned, that gave me the resilience. Because I wasn't sleeping when I was working. I wasn't sleeping. I was always stressed, always under pressure, always planning and trying to do new ideas. You know, going to meetings that I didn't know. So it was very, very similar. So I was able to take it, whereas that process was tearing people apart. They start to flag after a couple of weeks because they can't handle it. They're not used to it. You know,
I think it's brilliant that you describe it like that, and the parallels actually between running a business is really, really interesting. So, you know, as you went through it, obviously you became successful. Well done.
Cheers.
and you won the show. Right near the end, did you think, you obviously had confidence that you wanted to win before you won it? How did you feel near the end after you'd seen the skill sets of some of the other people? Did you still feel confident? Were there times that your confidence was rocked? And what did you think?
I think there's always can be that niggling doubt in the back of your mind sometimes, you know, and I do question myself sometimes now, but as soon as that doubt creeps in, I smash it back out.
It's good.
Okay, and you've got to destroy it. You can't let it grow in your mind. As soon as I have it, no, boom, it's got to go. And you've got to have that.
That's a really good bit of advice, what you just said. If, you know, the viewers pick that up, because everybody does. It doesn't matter whether how successful you are. I'm sure even there's times where Lord Sugar himself gets that.
Exactly.
Everybody gets that.
Am I making the right call? You know, it's not just you, and you know, everybody feels that way.
And having the emotional intelligence to smash it down.
Yeah.
And it's what I do. Exactly the same thing. You know, when I'm making business decisions and things like that, just smash it back down and don't let any doubts, anything rock you, and that's brilliant.
Yeah, you have to trust yourself, you know, and you have to. You were saying about self-belief earlier. You have to be your number one backer. If you don't believe, how will anybody else?
Yeah.
You have to believe 100% that what you're committing to will work. Because if you go in 70%, then you've got 30% doubt in your mind.
Yeah.
It ain't going to work. It's going to fail, you know, in my mind. Or it might work, but you're leaving yourself open for risk. I went in there, I'm going to win no matter what. Okay, I'm looking at you and you are quite strong, but I know I'm going to win, so you're not going to beat me. It doesn't matter how good you are.
Do you think anybody else had that belief?
Not as strong as me. I believe that people did believe it. I'd say realistically, out of the whole 18, only 3 people really believed it. Yeah. Really believed they could do it.
Who were those 3?
Myself. I think Richard believed he could do it. I really do believe he could do it. And also Varna.
Yeah.
I think she felt confident that she could deliver.
It's funny because she didn't really show herself on the show until the end, I felt.
Yeah.
She got strong at the end, didn't she? Do you remember?
Yeah, 100%.
Have you watched the show, by the way? Have you actually watched it all back and stuff like that?
Yeah.
How many times?
What we used to do was... we used to do this thing called the Apprentice Club. So on the Wednesday or the Thursday, all my mates used to come round my house and we all used to watch it together when it was aired. It was a fantastic time. You know, I look back and I remember it. It was just a great feeling when it all went live on TV, and it was just an exciting time. I didn't know what was coming, you know. It was just like going into business with Sugar. What's this going to do for me? How much is my life going to change? And it was a great experience, you know. And a lot of people, you know, do have an opinion on the candidates that go on there and the process and the show, but realistically, it is very good, you know. And for those very small few that are going because they want to be in business and they do actually want to properly do it, you know, it can be life-changing for them, as it has been for me.
So you won, and what happened after you won, you know?
Yeah.
What was the kind of period, and what was it like being business partners with Lord Sugar?
So you find out in December, obviously, that you've won, and then January 16 it was. You basically go and meet him, you have your solicitors, you sign the contract, boom, 50-50, and 250 grand straight into the business account.
Yeah.
It was slightly different with my year though, because he bought into Improgas.
Yeah.
Which was pretty cool. I'd started it 3 years before. Now a billionaire's buying 50% for $250,000. At 25, I was like, yes, I'm buzzing. That's pretty good. You know, so that was cool. And then you go to work, really. So do you see Sugar? Yes, you do. You see him once a month and you have an hour-long board meeting with him. It's just you. So he sits there, you sit here. Then you have the FD, the assistant FD, the secretary and the accountant. So it's heavily weighted on their side, but you are a team. So you sit on your end, and you realistically get to work.
And obviously, you in the end went on your own. Didn't you? What point did you go on your own?
So we ran the model then of the installations for about another 6 months, and then early 2017. So we're looking back at sort of March time now. It became very clear that the investment had been put into the business. Okay, I'd taken all of the exposure and built all of the relationships with manufacturers, suppliers, and taken all of the good stuff that I could. Okay, and they'd helped me build the financial infrastructure. So I'm sitting there going, what else now have you got to give me? Because I want to scale, and you don't know how to tell me how to scale, so I really need other support, if that makes sense. And you're not potentially in tune with where I want to go, whereas my ambition was to go national and is to go national. Okay, whereas Lord Sugar probably wants you to grow at a slower pace, you know. But for me now, it's all about, these are my prime 20s. I want to keep risking everything to keep jumping and getting to the next level, you know. That's what he would have done at 27 to grow Amstrad, not plod along slowly and, you know, I'm going for it. So I said, look, I'm going for it. You're either on the front line with me or let me go on my own. I'll buy the 50% back and I'll do it myself. Because we've got to a point now where the business is where it is, you know, what do you want? And he actually said, you know what, I think that's actually quite a respectable way that you've brought it across. It's quite fair, and I think you can do it alone. We agreed a price, and I got my baby back. Which is, you know, for me...
That's interesting, isn't it? Because that was the person that inspired you in the beginning. You said about a law of attraction, you end up working with him, okay, and you end up doing that. And then, was it a hard decision, or did your baby mean more to you than that? You know, like
I mean, it was
to walk away from the person that's inspired you as well. It's a big step. It's a big move.
But I'm a strong believer that people think a lot of, from the outside, right? People saw me going in with Lord Sugar as my peak. That was like the biggest thing you could ever do. That was just the beginning for me, you see. You know, and we worked together for a period of time, and then you move on. You know, you have a partner, you start a business with someone, it goes well, but then you move on. There's nothing wrong with that. We ain't got to go together for the next 50 years. We both helped each other at the time. He took what he needed from me, I took what I needed from him, and there wasn't much left to do, so we split.